Hello, my name is Keshwani. There's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to improve our vocabulary. Today is our lesson number 68. The words that we will cover today, all of these words would have to do with something that is easily noticeable. Things that are easily noticeable. All of these words will basically mean the same thing. There are different. These are all different words, and they are all good words to know. Whether you're preparing for the SAT or the GRE or the GMAT, these are all obviously good vocab words, which is why we're covering them. Number one. Some of them may be very simple for the native speakers, but here they are nonetheless. Conspicuous is the first one. Conspicuous. Conspicuous. An adjective. Conspicuous, as you know, we always put the pronunciation, no matter how simple the pronunciation may be. It's just my habit. That's what I always do. Always make a habit of putting the pronunciation along with every word, because you'll be surprised once in a while words are not pronounced the way they are written, and you make an assumption and you end up pronouncing it in a certain way and you end up making a fool of yourself. I've learned it the hard way, so I make a point of putting pronunciation every time. It simply means easily noticeable. Easily noticeable. Something that is obvious. Something that attracts attention. Something that attracts attention. Now the question is, why is it that it attracts the attention? Now, things can attract attention for different reasons. Something can attract attention because it's so gaudy and so vulgar and so disgusting. It can attract attention. But that's not what conspicuous is, obviously. Conspicuous means something that attracts attention because it is show-offy. I'm putting it in a very colloquial term. Show-offy. What does colloquial mean? Colloquial means not formal, informal language. A word that we learned a long time ago on day number 5. So if you want to put it in an informal way, conspicuous is something that attracts attention because it's a show-off. You're trying to show off. That's what it is. Let's learn the next one. The word is ostentatious. Ostentatious rather. Ostentatious. Again, it's an adjective. Ostentatious means pretty much the same thing as conspicuous. This means show off. Something that is designed to show off, to make a presentation to the other people. Look at me, I have this and you don't. Ostentatious. It needs to be boastful. You go around boasting things, like I said, look at me, I have it and you don't. Boastful. It is meant to impress. Ostentatious things are meant to impress others. So they're basically the same thing, ostentatious and conspicuous. The noun for ostentatious would be ostentation. Ostentation. Let's learn one more word. Again, like I said, they all are going to mean the same thing basically. The next word we want to learn is, so we're done with conspicuous. The next word we want to learn is pretentious. 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 Which means the same thing as this word. It means to be show-offy, boastful. It is meant to impress other people. Let's learn one more word, which is pompous. Pompous. Another adjective. Now what does that mean? What does it mean to be pompous? It simply means that you're making an exaggerated show of self-importance. You're announcing to people, look at me, I'm so much better than you guys. Pompous means to be full of yourself. If you're full of yourself, you think that you're better than the other person. If you're vain, you're being narcissistic, you're being pompous. To be vain. To think highly of yourself. To think highly of yourself. Pompous. The word pompous to be done with pretentious. The word pompous comes from pomp. Let's learn that word, shall we? Pomp, which is of course the noun. Pompous is an adjective. Pomp means exactly what we just talked about. It means vanity. Of course, technically, the noun is vanity. I put down vain here. I'm just being sloppy. That's all. Or ostentatious display. A palm. Well, actually, now that I read it, now that we read it together, it's fine. Actually, we don't need vanity here. Pomp means it's a vain or ostentatious display of something, and that's called pomp. Let's do one more. And the word is, again, the word was pomp, and from the word pomp we have the word pompous. Pomp means vain or ostentatious display of your belonging, of your wealth, of your possessions, if you like. Whatever it might be. It could be a necklace or a handbag or a car or whatever it is. Pomp. Flamboyant. Flamboyant. Again, it's an adjective, flamboyant, which means something that is easily noticeable, something that is easily noticeable because it is, so it has a certain nuance. Flamboyant, pompous, pretentious, ostentatious, conspicuous, they all mean the same thing, but flamboyant has a slightly different nuance. It has a slightly different nuance. Did I misspell the word nuance? It doesn't look right to me. Nuance. You would think that a simple word like nuance would not give me so much trouble spelling, but apparently it does. Boggles my mind. I managed to muck up even the simplest thing. Nuance is actually spelled correctly. Nuance, which means minute or subtle differences in the meanings of the word. We learned this word a long time ago. It was one of the very first words that we learned. It was one of the very first words that we learned in our lesson number 1. Nuance means minute or subtle differences in the meanings of the words. Flamboyant basically means basically the same thing as all the other words that we learn, except it has a nuance of being ornate. It is noticeable because it is ornate. It is richly designed, it's richly colored. And is highly elaborate. And is highly elaborate. So here, something is noticeable because it's flamboyant. It is noticeable because it has such rich color. It has such vibrant design. It has such ornate, intricate design on it that it makes it noticeable, and therefore it is called flamboyant. Do you understand? Would you excuse me just for 1 second? I think I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Now we're going to learn. Now I want to learn some more words. Words that also mean things that are easily noticeable. We're going to learn some more words which are going to mean things that are easily noticeable because they are bad, horrible, disgusting, or to be very technical, yucky. Do you understand? Let's start with the very first one. Flagrant. Flagrant, let's first put down the pronunciation. Excuse me again. Flagrant means something that is outstandingly bad. Something that is noticeable, something that is noticeable, something that is flagrant. It's something that is designed on purpose to be noticeable because it is so shocking, because it is so evil, because it is so horrible. It is meant to be like that. It is designed for that particular purpose, to shock others, to you want people to look at it and say, oh my God, how horrible. And that is called flagrant. You can make a flagrant mistake, you can make a flagrant breach of law, whatever it could be. But it is, of course, something bad. It is noticeable in a bad way, in a negative way. So it is easily noticeable, and it is meant, or if you like, it is designed to shock others. It is meant for that purpose. It's flagrant. It is flagrant because it is easily noticeable, because that's what it was meant to be. It was meant to be something that can be noticed very easily, because it's so disgusting, so bad, so horrible. Flagrant. That's it. We're done with it. The next word we want to learn also means something that is easily noticeable because it is bad and horrible, and the word is glaring. Now the word glaring has actually several meanings. We're going to cover all of them. Very first meaning, and all of these meanings that we're going to cover, and only one of those meanings actually has to do with the fact that it is noticeable because it's so bad. The very first meaning that we want to learn of glaring means to stare at someone in an angry manner. To stare at someone at an angry manner. If you're angry at somebody, if you're pissed off at somebody and if you stare at them in their face, that's called glaring. You're glaring at them like, you're angry, you understand? Second meaning of the word glaring is something that is very shiny. How do you spell shiny? Shiny. Something that is very shiny. I'm not sure if shiny would have two N's or one word, because in my notes here I have something that is intensely shining. Something that is very shining. That doesn't make sense. Something that is very shiny. I think it has two words. So something that is very shiny, something that is that has a great deal of shine to it, is called glaring. And finally, something that is very obvious, because something that is very obvious. Why? Something that is very obvious. Why? Is it because it is ornate and such a richly colored and richly designed? No, that was the word flamboyant. Here, whatever it is very easily obvious because it is poorly done. Because it is poorly done. Excuse me just for 1 second. It is poorly done. It's not done properly. It's because it is poorly done or done improperly. A mistake that is too obvious is said to be glaring. A mistake that is too obvious is said to be mistake that is too obvious is said to be glaring. Why? Why is the mistake that is too obvious is said to be glaring? Because it's staring in your face. It's just staring in your face. You can't avoid it. You can't ignore it. You cannot look over it. You can't get over it. It's right there. It's too obvious. It's one thing to make some subtle, minute, small error, but if you make a huge error, it's just too obvious. It's glaring. Finally, the last word that we want to learn today also means something that is easily noticeable because it's so bad, and the word is going to be. We have to erase everything. The last word that we want to learn is GRE. Should be GRE. Just. Egregious. What does it mean to be egregious? It's an adjective. And right here, it's an adjective. Egregious means something that is outstandingly bad. Something that is horribly bad. Something that is flagrant. Something that is flagrant. We just learned it, the word flagrant, which means it's noticeable because it's so bad, it's so horribly bad. An egregious mistake is something that is just too noticeable. An egregious error is an error that cannot be avoided. It is going to be noticed right away. You understand? An egregious act is something that is horribly bad, terribly bad, so bad in fact that you can notice it right away. As opposed to some small error that you might make or some small mistake that you might make. But an egregious error is an error that you simply cannot get away from. Do you understand? That was it for today. that was it for today. I will see you tomorrow on day number 69, where we will learn a few more words, obviously. Okay, bye now.